Back in the day, before the car was as ubiquitous as it is today, people lived in the same area for years. All right, you were born in the same area, and chances are you died in the same area. So during that time, it was very common that a person goes to the bank and they tell the banker, "Hey, Mr. Banker, I need $50,000," and then the banker would make that loan on a handshake. Okay, now today, you just can't walk in a bank and say, "Hey, Mr. Banker, I need some money." It's not gonna happen. Especially if, let's say, you lived in New York for years and then all of a sudden you move to Los Angeles, and you walk in the bank in Los Angeles and you tell the banker, "Hey, I need some money." The banker will look at you and say, "Okay, so how do I know that you're gonna pay me back this money that you're requesting? And who are you? Who? How do I know you've paid back every person you owed money in the past?" All right. And so in comes credit. Okay. In comes credit. You see, the banker doesn't have to depend on somebody telling him. Okay. The banker doesn't have to call somebody. The banker doesn't need a reference or anything else. All they got to do is just pull your credit, and the credit will tell them everything about you, right? Because the credit pretty much is what tells financial institutions or people that are going to loan you money your credit worthiness. Can you be trusted? Do you keep your promises? Okay. Do you keep your financial obligations? Okay. Do you keep your word when you say you're going to do something? Do you do it? Now, you may keep your promises in other areas. Okay. Now we're just talking about finances. We're talking about when you borrow money. Do you keep your word when you say I'm going to pay back, or do you default for one reason or the other? Your credit determines your credit worthiness. All right. And so the only reason you need credit, if I may say, is if you want to borrow money. That's it. Okay. You don't need credit for any other thing. Oh, okay, okay, of course, of course, of course. You do need credit for a couple of things, I think. Okay. Outside those two things, I don't think you need credit. All right. So let me address those two things. Okay. You will need credit in most places. Now, other places you might be able to negotiate with the landlord, but in most places, when you try to rent an apartment, for instance, okay, the landlord is gonna pull your credit. Okay, are there some apartments where you can rent without credit? Of course, there is some, but the majority are gonna pull your credit. All right, if you want to rent a car, so some car companies they do take cash, but for the most part, they will ask for your credit card. Okay, and so what about jobs, right? Yes, some jobs do run your credit. They do. Let's say you work in financial services, for instance. Okay, you're being hired to make loans, or you're being hired to manage people's money and things of that nature. Okay, if I'm the employer, I want to make sure that the person I'm hiring can be trusted with money, a lot of money. Okay, if you're a person who's delinquent on your debt, let's say you have several evictions, and you have a lot of charges on your account, and you just don't pay back what you say you're gonna pay back. Why then would I put you in a situation where it'll be tempting? Why then would I put you over finances when I know you have a problem with finances? That'll be asinine on my part. Okay, so those kind of jobs, those kind of institutions, yes, will run your credit. And do some jobs today, actually, besides just financial services, do run your credit, because your credit does say a lot about you. Okay, we're not talking about people that fall in hard times. We're talking about just for the majority. Your credit does say a lot about you, and your credit pretty much is just a reflection of who you are as a person, in the sense that most of the decisions we make about people are based off of the past, right? The past has a way of telling us what somebody is capable of doing in future. Do people change? Yes, but you and I know that the past really is a reflection. The past gives us a good picture of how somebody is going to behave in future. A good picture. We can deduce from looking at past information that the future is going to be a certain way, and therefore we can deduce someone's behavior, future behavior, based on how they've behaved in the past. And the prediction is pretty accurate for the most part. There are situations where it's not, but for the most part we can deduce and say, you know what, if this was this way in the past, it would be that way, and there's several things we judge in that way based on the past. Okay, so with that said, so how is this information reported? Well, I'm glad you asked. So there's three credit bureaus, okay, that are responsible for, you know, keeping your credit history. Okay, every person, every institution you borrow money from, chances are they're gonna report to these three, okay, about the financial transaction you just made. All right, so there's three of them. There's Experian, Transunion, Equifax. These institutions, these bureaus, are the ones that are responsible for keeping your credit information. Okay, if I want to pull information about you, I am gonna contact one of these to pull that credit report, and that credit report is gonna tell me everything you've done about with your finances, and therefore I'm gonna be able to make a decision based on the credit report I'm gonna pull from here. Okay, and so then what are some of the things that impact your credit, you may ask? Okay, we're going to talk about things that impact your credit. So how is your credit calculated? There's several things that impact your credit, all right? And so, but the main thing that really impacts your credit is your payment history. It contributes to 35% of your credit itself, okay? So you want to make sure, in fact, when it comes to payment history, you want to make sure it's just 100%. There's no two way about it, okay? It has, if you miss a payment, it has a huge impact on your credit, okay? Payment history, you want to make sure you're paying everything on time. How do I ensure that I'm paying everything on time? Okay, I ensure that I'm paying everything on time by making sure that all my obligations are taken out of my checking account. That way I don't forget. That's just me. Now, if you're uncomfortable with somebody pulling money out of your checking account because you ain't got no money, that's fine. You can figure out a way to get an alert that if payment is due. But I don't want to deal with that hustle. I just do what? I just let whatever transactions, whatever bills come out of my account. That way I don't forget, and that ensures that I'm 100% all the time on my payments. Okay, utilities and things of that nature. And therefore, the second thing that contributes a lot, that has an impact on your credit, is the amount owed. Okay. Now here, let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say you borrow $1,000. Okay, $1,000. What you want to do is, to be on the good side, you only want to use less than 10% of $1,000, which is less than 100. Okay, I'm gonna bring in the idea of a credit utilization. So we say we want to make sure that our credit utilization is below 10%. You don't want to max out your credit. Let's say if you're spending 900, now your credit is going to be impacted. Why? Because you are showing banks that you're high risk, that you're utilizing 90% of the credit that you have. Bankers want to see that you're utilizing at least less than 10%. To be on the safe side, you want a credit utilization of less than 10%. Any more than that, your credit will be impacted. You're gonna drop a lot. Your score will drop several points because of your credit when your credit utilization is high. The three factor is what type of credit is being used. So the type of credit being used contributes 10%. Okay, which means if you just have credit cards by themselves, that might have an impact on your credit. Okay, if you just have a car loan, that might have an impact. What you want to do is you want to have a mixture. Okay, bankers want to see, or lenders want to see, that you have a mixture, that you're able to manage different kinds of credits. That you have a mortgage in there, you have a car loan in there, you have credit cards in there, you have student loans. It gives them a better picture of how you're able to manage different kinds of debt. Okay, and the other thing is also the length of credit. How long have you been borrowing money? How long have you been keeping your obligation? Okay, like I said, history tells us, history does help us with determining the future. And therefore, if you have a longer history of paying things off, I'm able to say, you know what, I can trust you more. Why? Because you have a track record. You've built a track record over time of what? Of keeping your word. Okay, you've built a track record, and therefore I know that if you tell me you're going to pay me, I can feel confident to loan you money, because I can look at your past and say, yes, you have paid several loans, and therefore if you've done that for those people, for those institutions, you probably do the same thing with my money, and therefore I'll be willing to loan you my money. But if you've only had debt, okay, credit for 2 years, okay, I'll be thinking twice okay, oh, I don't know you like that. Okay, I don't know you like that. I need more time for me to be confident that you're going to be able to pay back. And therefore, the length of your credit history has a 15% impact, makes a 15% impact on your credit, towards your credit. And then the last but not least is, new credit. What you want to do is that you want to have at least just maybe two um, two credit inquiries. Okay, two credit inquiries on your credit report in 2 years. Okay, more than that, it shows the bank that, low, you're too thirsty. And when you're too thirsty, they're like, no, 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 no. Why do you need Why do you need to have credit like that? Why do you want to borrow money like that? So that's a red flag. Okay, that's a red flag. Because see, what the lenders are trying to do here is manage risk. All this credit stuff is about managing risk. Okay, as a lender, what you think about is, what is the likelihood of this person defaulting? You don't want that person to default on any loans, right? And therefore you want to ensure that you're paid back your money, and therefore you go through all these processes trying to figure out, how much can I loan this person, how much am I willing to risk with this person, and therefore that's why all this stuff is considered when it comes to measuring your credit worthiness. Okay. And so let's talk about the credit score itself, because at the end of the day, all those numbers I gave you, all those percentages, they come down to a score. Okay, putting those things together, it comes up with a number, and that number is a credit score, and that credit score is between 300 and 850. Okay, and so then they have ranges, right? So from 750, if that score comes up between 750 and 850, you have excellent credit. Okay, banks are more likely to give you money, because you've built a relationship, you have a reputation that you'll be able to pay back your obligation and stuff, things of that nature. Same thing, 700 to 750 is good, 650 to 700 is fair. What's my advice? You just want to make sure that you're above 700. What does that look like? Well, you just ensure that you're paying your stuff on time. You have a mixture of different kind of credits. You'll make sure that that your credit utilization is below 10%, and you want to make sure that you've had a long credit history. Okay, you do those 5 things like I mentioned before, you should be able to score above 700, and hopefully, have excellent credit. Okay, 650 and below, you just don't want to be there. Okay, I was there before. My credit score was about 500 something. Okay, when I owed $81,000. Okay, which I've since paid off, and so my credit score right now hovers between 780 and 800 for some reason. Is to getting up there, because okay, it's my credit since the last time I paid off my debt. It hasn't been so long, so my history is not that long, so to say. Anyway, um, let's talk about talking about credit repair. Like this says, credit repair is a scam. Okay, if you're thinking about improving your credit, ask yourself a question: why do you want to improve your credit? So you can buy a house. Okay, you're already in debt and you want to get into a house. I would advise you pay off your debt and then get a house. Okay, we don't spend money on things that are liabilities with credit. We don't do that. Okay, if you just want to pay off your debt, or you want to fix your credit because you want to borrow money to get a car, that's not a very wise way of doing things, right? There's no need for you to pay somebody thousands of dollars or whatever that is, so you can build your credit. Because what they're going to do is they'll get your money, they'll make sure all your debt goes into default, and after your debt goes into default, they're going to call all the creditors and tell them and say, hey, can we settle this debt for so much? Can we settle this way? Why do you need to go to those extents just to fix your credit so you can borrow more money? Doesn't make any sense. Okay, if I were you, I would do it myself. Why? It's easy. Just like I mentioned in another video. You can find the video of how I paid off my $81,000. You just use the oh, okay. You just use the debt snowball. Okay, the debt snowball technique will make sure or ensure that everything else you owe is paid off, and once that is paid off, that just fixes your credit by itself. All right, once you don't owe any money, everything just becomes current, and then your credit just gets better. Okay, I didn't do anything. I didn't pay nobody. but it just improved. The more I paid, it just improved, and it keeps on improving because I don't owe any money. All right. Okay. And so just do it yourself. Like I said, the next point buttresses my point. I said, listen, we don't borrow money to buy liabilities. We don't borrow money to buy liabilities. We don't fix credit so we can borrow money. We don't do that. Okay. We use debt to buy assets. We use credit to buy assets, income generating assets. For instance, if you go to the bank and using your credit, you borrow money to buy a business, and the business is cash flowing. Okay. Meaning after all the debts and obligations are paid, and all the the cost of doing business is, all the expenses are paid, that you're left with money in your pocket. That business cash flows. Let's say you buy a piece of property. Okay, all expenses paid, mortgage, maintenance, and everything else. After paying everything else, if you're left with money, okay, at least $100, that property is cash flowing. We do use credit, okay, to leverage. We call that leveraging. Okay, if you want to leverage, you use your credit for that. We do not, absolutely do not use credit for personal personal things, like buying personal things, like buying toys. We don't use credit to buy toys. Okay, that's the ways. We don't invest in liabilities. We invest in assets, income producing assets. Okay, so how do you know what your credit is? How are you going to do that? Okay, so what you can do is that you can go to onyourcreditreport.com. Okay, there you find TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. These credit bureaus are obligated by the government to give you one credit report every single year. You're entitled to one of them. So there's three of them, which means every year you're entitled to three, because each one of them has to give you one. It's the law. Okay, you're entitled to one credit report. So if you go to onyourcreditreport.com, you should be able to get a copy of your credit report, see what's on there. Sometimes you find stuff on there that you didn't even know you had on there. Okay, and so what On Your Credit Report does, they'll give you a credit report. However, you probably have to pay for your credit score. Okay, now you can go to creditkarma.com and you can get your credit score for free. Okay, like I said, guys, this was just an overview about credit. I can go into more. I'll go into more details later about how, some of the things and how we can pay off and what we need to do and things of that nature. So if you found value in this video, I ask you to subscribe and click that notification button. That way you're notified when I upload more videos. And thanks for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next video.